You never know where a conversation might happen. It could be, on the road. It could be in a bar. It could be anywhere. And I think we're in for a fun one tonight. She's a country singer-songwriter. Her latest single, Someone Who Knows, is out now. Let's welcome in Kelsi Mayne.
Hello. How are you?
I am good. I am good. And like I said, you just never know where a conversation is going to happen. And I think they can happen anywhere and everywhere. And I appreciate you taking a little bit of time to join me.
How about a bathroom in Nashville? And I'm at Kid Rock's bar, his fine dining Detroit Cowboy, and it's a little bit of home for me because it's actually there's all decorated with Detroit stuff, which is pretty much my hometown. So I'm from Windsor, across from there, so it's a little taste of home here. So
Well, I was gonna say we'll get into where you're from, your roots, and all that. But this is bar conversations. I was trying to figure out what to pair with the conversation, and I know you do your music kind of spans some genres, or at least you pull from different places. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do a little bourbon that's finished in honey and amberana barrels, little Penelope Rio, little nice little bottle
oh,
here. So
wow. Okay, you got me jealous now.
so very sweet.
Yeah.
Tastes a little bit like cinnamon toast crunch, but I can handle that.
Okay, and where I'm gonna
So
need to
now I
get
got to
some of
ask
that.
you. So it's I think most places, Penelope, they do some fun finishes. If you're interested in finished bourbon, they do a pretty good job. Some of it's a little expensive, some of it not too much. Now it sounds like you enjoy a drink occasionally. I know you're behaving yourself right now, but what's your go-to drink normally?
You know what? I usually do because I mean it's very similar to what you're drinking right now. My one of my go-tos is an old fashioned. So I feel like that is pretty much an old fashioned. Just put some ice in it, and then I feel like you're you're almost drinking the same thing. But I do every once in a while like to switch out the bourbon with some smoky mezcal. So a mezcal old
Ooh,
fashioned. That's one of my go tos, and then
I,
another one is a dirty martini. Can't go wrong with
I
that.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you have a plethora. I don't normally get folks that pick multiple. Like I mean, like the mezcal and for the bourbon, that's a genius. I love that. And then the Manhattan, like or a dirty martini. Like I love that. I love that.
You know what? It just depends on the day, and that's kind of how I am as a person. And I think listening to my music, it probably makes more sense now because I have very different styles and tastes and stuff, and I just kind of pull from everything. So it's kind of how I feel that day.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And like I said, I thought that paired well with your music, and it sounds like I may have done well on this. And when we're talking, by the time this episode drops, it'll be just before Christmas. So I gotta ask, do you have any holiday traditions or favorite things you like to do this time of year?
We usually go. My I have a big Italian side of the family, so we'll have a big. It's usually Christmas Eve. We'll do a big kind of potluck thing, and my Nona, the best Christmas gift that she ever gave us was a recipe book of all of her Christmas recipes, and because she would start like months in advance. And now she just passed away last year. She was 97, and she hosted it, I think, until she was 90. So, and she would just start in like August preparing for Christmas and freezing things and stuff. So I think now we're just trying to like pick a few recipes here and there and make them, and I'll bring them to the potluck. But yeah, there's some pretty big staples. Her apple squares is probably the biggest staple. So food is a big tradition in our family.
Well, that sounds fantastic, and I'm very hungry now. I know it's late in the evening, but you've made me hungry.
Sorry, not sorry, but
No, I mean I love that. And having her be able to pass along those recipes, I mean, is really cool. Now, were you someone that loved to cook growing up too? I mean, or listen and learn, or did you just let stay away from that? I mean, what was your level of being a chef?
I mean, I did get to make some things with her. I got to make gnocchi with her and ravioli and her apple squares and stuff. But she, one thing about Italians in the kitchen is like they'll just kind of take over and they won't really, they'll let you help, but then they'll actually just end up doing it all themselves. So so I didn't really make a whole lot myself, but now on my own, if I have some time, I do like to cook and bake and stuff.
Well, and it's cool to see, you have all these different hobbies clearly, and it blew my mind when I was reading up about you that you were a nationally ranked sprint hurdler and track athlete before pursuing music. One, how impressive! Props to you because I didn't. I still to this day hate to run. So, how long did you run? Do you still run? What was all that like? I mean, how'd you get into that?
You know what? I think it was just because I was always fast, but it wasn't quite fast enough just to run straight. So I needed to just like put things in the way, and then and I was always kind of. I think I grew up dancing, so I was just like naturally kind of more coordinated, and so it came very natural to me. Um, and it was only 60 meters, so shorter the better. You know, I'm not really much of a distance runner, but I liked, yeah, the short spurts. But so I ran my whole life, and I still am running in some capacity now, but not competitively anymore. Well, not usually competitively. I did run earlier this year. I ran in the Cabot Trail Relay, which is like this insane thing. It's like I think like 200K race in Nova Scotia and Cape Breton, and it's a 2 day long race, but it's a relay. So I ran 15K, which is like 11 miles, and that was my leg, and it was all up a mountain. So there was no downhill. So I think I'm good to retire now.
Well, props to you. That's a good way to finish. I mean, you literally went uphill and knocked it out of the park. So props to you.
I survived. I don't know if I knocked it out, but I survived. So.
Hey, as far as I know, you did your leg as the best of anyone, and that's all that matters.
You're very kind.
Well, and like I said, you enjoy dabbling in the kitchen when you have the time. I'm sure maybe an occasional run or a walk around the park somewhere, probably when you're on the road. But like I said, you do this thing called music. So where did that fit in your life growing up? If you did dance, track, and all these other things.
Well, I had to give up. So I grew up Highland dancing, and I had to give it up because I had all these injuries, and because I was growing at the same time, and it's the doctors just said, I was like basically ripping like all the tendons in my legs, and so they just said, if you don't want it to be permanent, then like you have to give up the most rigorous thing. So gave up dancing, but just dancing and music is like you're moving to music, and so I was just always connected to the music world, I guess, and infatuated by it and just performing in general. So it just when I couldn't do dance, then I kind of transitioned into singing and then falling in love with that. So it was pretty natural, kind of hand in hand. So yeah.
Well, so then what music did you grow up listening to? I mean, I know you grew up right there on the border of Canada, U.S., right near Detroit. So what music did you grow up to?
I a very wide plethora of genres. So my mom's Italian. I listened to everything from like Pavarotti and like Louis Prima to what my dad would listen to, which was like Celtic and bagpipes and fiddles and East Coast kind of music. But then being right across from Detroit had the Motown and hip hop and R&B, and then my dad was the one that was the country fan in the house, so he would bring in that music. Like we would listen to Garth Brooks and Dwight Yoakam, and you know, I don't know. It was just like everything went through my house, and it kind of influenced me in so many ways, and it's just really cool that I'm now able to draw from so many influences and just constant. I'm never bored, pretty much. So.
Well, I love the melting pot. You know, like I mean, your background, your family's that way. You know, clearly from the Italian side, and you know, I'm guessing maybe a little Irish or somewhere over there in Europe. And I mean, you mentioned growing up in Windsor, Ontario. What impact did that have on you? Because obviously, yes, you were near Detroit, big cities, and you could go to do different things. But I'm guessing musically and in life, that had an impact on you too.
Oh, absolutely. People here, so I'm in Nashville right now, and people ask me about like can like what kind of music and like Canadian influences that I had, and I actually didn't have a lot because it was all American stuff that came through, and it wasn't until I moved to Toronto after university that I started learning about the Tragically Hip and like Rush and like all these massive Canadian bands, but we never had them in Windsor. So everything is very influenced. I'm so influenced that I do my summers in Fahrenheit and my winters in Celsius. So yeah.
You know, well, and I was gonna say, I mean, so you don't, you know, you don't have like Tim Hortons on the ready and drink rye whiskey. I mean, that's not. I mean, if that's not Canadian, I don't know what is.
I mean, I definitely will not turn down either of those. So
So, and you're very polite about it. So clearly, a few things rubbed off on you from up there. Um, Now, I read too. You got your start singing in some Windsor bars, like the Bull and the Barrel Saloon, while at university, and I believe that was partially to get music out of your system, and also because they said because it was kind of like an entertainment type place that maybe dancing wasn't your thing at that bar.
yeah, I mean, I did my little dance audition, and they didn't seem too impressed by it because I didn't do any formal training in that kind of dancing. But as I was leaving, I just figured I'm like, well, I don't know if you're looking for this, but I can sing if you want. And then so they asked me to. They said, "Do you know Redneck Woman?" I was like, "Well, yeah." And then well, I ain't never been the Barbie doll type. And then I just saw their faces all kind of change, and and then they made me their house singer for the next 3 years when I worked there, and this whole position just for me. And then they ended up getting a couple other singers because they really liked how I was doing it, and yeah, it was cool. I kind of started a thing, and then they opened up another franchise or another bar in London as well, London, Ontario. So they kind of like expanded, and then yeah, it just became like a whole thing. So it was really cool to be part of that.
Well, and I read too where while you were there, you would have patrons tell you like, "Hey, you're actually really good at this singing thing. You might consider that a career." Like, is that when you started to think, "Hey, maybe there's something to this music thing, and maybe I should look into it"?
Yeah, yeah, it was like your friends and your family. Like I've been very fortunate. I have very supportive friends and family around me, and but you know you can't really fully trust them. Like they're always just gonna love you. And so, so it was when I started getting the compliments from strangers who had no obligation to say anything to me, um, that went out of their way to track me down and find me, to tell me that they thought that I was good enough to do it for a career. That I was like, okay, maybe, I've always wanted to do this thing, but maybe I should actually take their word and consider it for real. So that's what kind of gave me the final push to do it.
And now, you mentioned you went to university, and you got your degree. I believe you were a registered nurse. And so when the pandemic hit, though, you took a little break from music. What eventually pulled you away from that, though, and back toward music full time?
Well, when the pandemic hit, I was doing music, and the ball was really starting to roll for me, and then it hit, and then I couldn't really do much with it. And then so that's when I had this other opportunity where my other interests and worlds that I had previous to this, like with between nursing and film and television, like I did a little bit of acting and a little behind the scenes stuff. Like I knew the film and television world already. So when they needed people, medical people, my worlds kind of collided, that I never would have imagined them needing me, my two skills like that. And so it just made sense to do that when I couldn't do my music. And then when that ended and they didn't need the film and television world didn't need any medical services anymore, then I was like, I had a decision to make. I thought, I was like, I don't know if people will still remember me, if I'm going to be any good anymore or relevant still. And there was a lot of self-doubt, to be honest, and I was very intimidated to get back into it. But I just figured, it's what I know, it's what I love to do. Let's give it a shot, and I'm so glad I did, because it's just like every year just gets better and better. And it's kind of like, it's cool to see things starting to pay off a little bit, but it's also just seeing how far you can push yourself too, and how much you can evolve. And I've really seen that in the last couple of years.
I love that because you took a chance on yourself and it's paying off, and your music's fantastic. And we'll get into some of what you're doing now, but right before you decided to pivot into the nursing and kind of give back on your skills and so forth, your debut album As I Go dropped in March of 2020. What was it like releasing a major project that took you, I believe, 3 years to make, right at the start of the pandemic?
Well, I mean, at the time, we all thought, okay, we're going to shut down for a week or two, maybe, and then we'll just get right back to it. So, um, yeah, none of us knew it would take years for things to get back to normal. But yeah, I just it was fine. I mean, I didn't. I don't know any different, right? So I never. It was my first one. I never had anything else to compare it to. So um, I think it was still okay. It was different not being able to actually perform those songs in front of a live audience after that in person, but. I did get to do some pretty cool things still with it, like my song SOS. I got to perform that at the CMA Ontario Awards, and it was the first. Oh, we think it was the first award show, drive-in award show ever, and I was part of that. So I mean, and I got to perform this song from my album for that song, and it was a really cool moment on top of it, because I was also the very first artist that they've had that brought in their own horn section, and I brought the horn section in for that performance, and then I got, because everyone else was in their cars, I got a little call and repeat going. I said, you guys have your horns, we got ours. Do what we do. And so it was I mean, I made the most out of any opportunity that I had during that time, but that was a really cool moment.
I was gonna say that's something not only you, but I feel like everyone can could remember because it was just so unique and being able to do something like that. And you also did a cool thing for your video for As I Go, which I went viral on TikTok. What was the vision behind the Mad Max inspired look? Where I think you had some friends that had some trucks, dirt bikes, and some scrap cars as well in there.
As an independent artist, you literally just like pull from every resource that you have, and it's just a lot of the times just getting your friends together. And I was at a Christmas party, and there's a friend of mine that I'd known for a bit, and he has the big truck that's in that music video. I think it's the largest street legal truck in Canada, maybe. And so he just said, I really want to get my truck in a country music video because I need the street cred. Because he said my friends harp on me all the time for having this big truck and have nothing to show for it. So, so I said, I think I can make that happen. So then we put it in the video, and then basically I threw in, because my brother's a filmmaker, I always try to throw in elements that he'd be interested in filming as well. So he's not really into like any romantic songs or themes or anything. So we figured, let's just blow things up. Let's just have fire and trucks and ATVs and all the things. And he was so game for it. So Mad Max was his inspiration. And we just basically called up all of our friends and got them in it. So.
Hey, I mean, and you gave the guy street cred, so clearly it was a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing that video, people think it's like this huge budget thing, and I think that was about $400 to make. So, and that was just because with that, it was just the cost of the gasoline that we lit on fire and the food to feed everyone. So that's pretty much it.
Hey, you put your resources to good use, and you talk about your brother Corey, who I believe you guys work on most of your videos together, which props to you all because I don't feel like a brother and sister always get along on everything.
No, I'm very close with. I have two siblings. I have a sister and a brother, and we're all very, very close. And I feel like the more that you can work together on something, it's just cooler and it's more fun. And I love to be able to share my passion with his passion and kind of mix them. And he's the one that taught me how to edit. So he'll film it and we'll come up with the ideas together, but then I'll edit the footage and then I'll send it to him and then he'll clean it up and fix, tweak my edits a little bit, and then we'll kind of go back and forth for a little bit. But it's really cool to collaborate with your siblings. It's just I don't know, I can't describe it. It's kind of like I grew up with him, and then to continue to kind of we're still playing pretend together, so it's cool as adults.
I was gonna say you're making some really cool videos and some art at that, and you've released several singles this year. I know by the time this drops and when we're talking, we're almost at the end of 2025. But you've released several singles this year, including Georgia Off My Mind, not Georgia On My Mind, Georgia Off My Mind, and which is described as having a little R&B funk, some quick lyrics. Was that something that you picked up from Detroit and just where you grew up and kind of put it in a song?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always been my dream to kind of mix the hip hop and R&B side with my country side, and I've tried to do it a few times in my writing, and it never really turned out. And then when I had this idea with my co-writer, I brought it to him, and he's from Virginia, and he used to be a hip hop producer, so it just kind of opened this new door for us both, and it was just this kind of like magical moment where it just worked, and yeah, so this is my little like guilty pleasure song because it's like all of my favorite things together.
Well, I was gonna say everyone has to have a guilty pleasure, and it's a fantastic song, and it's so different than your most recent single that someone who knows, which is very stripped down, guitar, pedal steel, single harmony. You know, so going from Georgia off my mind with that to someone who knows, and we'll get into the full story on it, but just the production side of someone who knows. Can you talk about kind of taking that minimalist arrangement to get that kind of raw sound to go along with what it's all about?
Yeah, I mean, the lyrics were just so honest that we just wanted them to just stand on its own and just shine. And we did when we were the I was working with my producer on the song, and we did discuss what direction we wanted to see it, and we you start off with the bare bones, and then just hearing it on its own, it just had this whole kind of like it's like a beautiful eerie kind of feel to it, and especially like the bridge where it's just this like I'm just saying ooh, and but it just gives this like warm but eerie kind of feeling to it, and we thought it was just so beautiful, we just didn't want to touch it after that. So yeah, that was a very conscious decision, and I feel like a lot of songs these days are overproduced because we have the ability to do that with the more technology advances and stuff and AI and whatever. So we felt like this song deserved its own moment, and just to kind of keep it as simple as possible was would help to give it that moment.
Well, I think you guys nailed it, and it's a song that deserved it because, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, one, it's artists put themselves in it in songs, and you really did on this one because it was written, I believe, in the aftermath of a canceled wedding, a decades long relationship that ended, and was written mid flight and recorded the next day. Did I
Yeah.
get all that correct? Because that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was like the fastest turnaround on a song I've ever had. Um, but yeah, I had an idea, the idea of it, like if you're gonna make a promise, better keep it, and then like take it from someone who knows, kind of like that idea was just kind of swirling around in my brain for a few months, and then I took it into a few different writes, and like I always like to co-write things, and took it in, and everyone passed on the idea, and so I kind of figured it actually wasn't very good because no one else wanted to do it with me. And then when I was on this flight, I had I was only on the flight to begin with because Air Canada had actually gone on a strike, so then I had to like switch it, and I ended up switching it to Vancouver instead of going back to Toronto to work with my producer, and because we were actually going to record Breaking Bad, so we did that. But then on the flight, I had nothing better to do, and this idea just kind of felt like it was like pounding on my head, and just like saying like get out. So I just started writing things and doing little voice memos in the corner, trying not to disturb everyone around me and not be a weirdo, but yeah, and then so it just kind of all came out there, and showed it to him the next day, and he loved it. So
Can't believe you didn't go to the bathroom and try it there.
I was see maybe I could have, but I had someone sitting next to me, and I didn't want to even bother them. So
Fair enough, fair enough. But no, I mean, you know, to share that kind of raw feeling that you were going through there, you know, you've said your music, especially recently, you know, has never been more honest, real, raw. What's it like to be vulnerable in your lyrics, you know, and share some of the things that you're going through, and and not always good things, things that everyone goes through in life. I mean, what's it been like to share that vulnerability with everyone?
It's been really like cathartic. Like it's I feel like a lot of my songs, it's just because I have a message and it's like something that I want to get off my chest. And then going through everything that I went through last year, which was like felt like a soap opera when I've pretty much avoided drama my entire life. Um, and it was just like stuff coming at me that I couldn't avoid if I tried, and I just felt like I had a lot to say, and I this one I just wanted to. I felt like I needed to share a message and remind people of how to treat other people, and I feel like it's been lost and forgotten along the way, and so I just wanted to say a little reminder, like, for the love of God, if you're gonna make a promise, come on. Please keep it. So
Absolutely, absolutely, and you know, beyond major life events that may kick off some song thoughts. I read where you find inspiration in quote literally everything around me, and sometimes you put ideas whether it's in the shower, on your drive. I'm guessing your notes section on your phone is just full of little things that you think of as you go through the day.
sometimes I'll scroll and I'll go back to things, and you wonder how many like really good golden nuggets might some be in there somewhere that you just forgot about. But I try not to. I try not to let the good things go too long. But there's this. I just came back from a writer's retreat, and I literally there was a song idea that I wrote an entire song in my dream, and then I woke up and I went to record it on my phone and forgot most of it, but I remembered a little bit, and I recorded it. I was like super groggy. My recording is terrible, but it was just enough. And then sat it down, and I usually when you do that and you go back to it, it's a terrible idea, and what you thought was amazing in your dream is never actually good. This one was actually pretty decent, and I'm really excited about this one. So I'm hoping that this one will come out soon. But yeah, it was surprising. But you do get those moments.
I was gonna say you never know where inspiration might hit, and honestly, to your point too, sometimes you just got to write them down, get them out there, good or bad. You got to get it out of you and let it into the world. Just get to the next one, and you never know. Maybe 2026 we might hear something new.
Maybe this one is actually a song that it's not for me. I feel like it's like a Blake Shelton or Cody Johnson kind of song. But yeah, I'm hoping the right people will find it. So
So somewhere in 2026, I like it.
yeah.
Now, obviously, it's one thing to write the songs, create the songs. It's another to truly share them with people, perform on the stage, and bring the song to life. What's the best part about being on stage for you? Because I believe you consider live music your place to shine.
Yeah, I feel like it's just that way to really connect to the audience, and it's just that when you actually feel it, it's I love, and then my thing is I feed off of the audience in front of me, and I really play to every every face that I see, and it's really cool to connect that way, like physically, and just see the people and then feed off of that, and nothing can recreate that. It's so much better than you could ever do in a studio, because it's just basically like a closet that you and it's dark and drab, and you can't recreate that feeling. So yeah, and on stage it's like my safe place. Like I feel like I can just be whoever I want to be, and I feel like I'm a little bit of a different person, but at the same at the same time though I'm even more myself, which is I can't even describe that either, but I don't know if that makes any sense. But
Oh no, it totally does because I've gotten to talk to enough artists that they're like, I am shy in real life. I don't like to talk to anyone, but boy, I get on stage, all of a sudden a different side of me comes out, and it's still part of me, but it's a different side, and
yeah.
and I love that because people get to see who you are. Now, did I also read correctly? And for those that don't know, obviously in a lot of places in the U.S. we have big rodeos. You go down to Texas, you got big things. They got a big thing going up in Calgary, the Calgary Stampede. Did you perform 39 sets across 10 days? Because that seems crazy.
It was something like that. It was like close to four shows a day or something like that. And yeah, it was a lot. By the end of it, my I think my body knew, uh, and it just collapsed on me. It was like as soon as I landed and I got back, it was like, okay, you did what you needed to do. Now you can crash. And I crashed for like two or I had 2 weeks to try to recover before I had to play again, and I was still sick when I had to play again, but I was able to at least like get through it. I miraculously, I don't know what it is with like adrenaline is a beautiful thing because I could not stop coughing before jumping on that stage, but as soon as I got on that stage, I didn't cough once. So I don't know what happens, but it's a magical drug.
Hey, I get it. I've been on vacations where I've been with people that they're like butts in seats at 6 in the morning, and I'm still up at 1 o'clock having a drink, and somehow 4 hours of sleep. Then we go on like a 14-mile hike. I managed to do it, but only on vacations. You know, certain things you just find that the power to do it.
Yeah. Hey, it's that like now or never thing, you know?
Absolutely, and I also read where, to me, you have a very unique pre-show ritual of quote shots and squats. Can you explain that? I think I get the shots part. I'm not sure about the other.
Well, that's just a thing that I carried over from all the years of running and doing a million squats a day. And I don't know, it was just kind of combining my two things that I love to do, and shots and squats. And then, you know, we get a little pre-show workout in to kind of work out the nerves and warm up. And um, my bless my poor band, but they put up with me and they do it. So it's good. It's good for
Hey,
everyone.
I'm impressed. I
You know, the shots aren't
no,
healthy, but at least the squats are. So
well, I hear the shots warm up the vocals, get you a little looser. That's what I hear.
yeah, exactly. So both are just to warm me up.
I love that. Also, props to your band for going along with it. That means they really do like being with you.
Yeah, at least that's what they tell me. So
Well, the shots and squats though. When I say this next part makes sense because you got to work out, you got to get limber, you got to get loose because you like to have a high energy show. You know, but beyond the shots and squats part, you have a pretty robust show. You like to do a lot of fun. You don't though perform in high heels, but boots work because it's country. So what's the show like? I mean, clearly you bring a lot of energy.
well, I just because I don't plan like there's a lot of artists out there that they have every moment of their show choreographed, and you know at this moment I'm gonna take two steps that way and wave, and I'm gonna turn here and then I'm going to walk over to that side. I am not that way. I have always just been a very spontaneous performer, and I do whatever I feel like, and whatever the crowd is kind of giving to me, I'm trying to give back. So, and I want to be able to, if I see a speaker in front of me, I want to be able to jump to it and jump on top of it and then jump back down or whatever. And sometimes I'll jump out into the crowd, and it's all these different scenarios that I find myself in, and I've tried to do it in heels before, and then I either can't do it, or I twist my ankle, or I'm too afraid to even try it, but I want to. And so I'm just like, I don't want anything that holds me back. I am just gonna do whatever enables me to do it. So I'm a practical person. So yeah, just whatever makes sense.
Hey, it makes sense because literally when you were talking about jumping from things, I was like, that sounds like a rolled ankle on high heels, and you're like, I don't want to roll an ankle, and that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. So just hold me back.
Well, and because of those shows, and you have such a wide variety. When I say variety, like you have those really upbeat songs, and like I mentioned, Georgia Off My Mind, and you have like somebody who knows, or someone who knows,
Mm-hmm.
that is totally stripped down. What's a show like for you? I'm guessing you give the audience a little bit of everything because one, yes, you bring the energy, but I'm guessing you find ways to bring it up, bring it down, and give everyone all the emotions.
Yeah, I mean, I am also an artist that I care about every audience that I go to, and depending on the show and what that entails, like if it is the Calgary Stampede, um, I want to get people drinking, so, and I want to get them dancing and screaming and hooting and hollering and stuff, and so I'm not really gonna play my slow songs for them. So I cater my audience, all my set lists for every single audience that I have. Which again, bless my band, because they've learned a lot of songs from me, but but I feel like it's the best way to connect. And when you have that moment, and it's really cool when you can even call an audible on stage and just yell to your band, "Hey, I think they're gonna love this next, like one of my other songs." So it's nice to kind of switch it up, because you try to anticipate. I try to anticipate what the audience is going to be like, but then certain things might hit a little different than what you are expecting, and so it's nice to kind of just switch up a few things on the fly.
Well, I love that because that means every show's different, and people get to experience different things. And obviously, at the beginning of a show, I like to ask what your go-to drink, and you had some amazing answers. I mean, you put some thought into to what you enjoy to drink. So I'm curious to see what your answer is going to be to this one, and it's what's your favorite song of yours to perform live right now.
Ooh, I mean, All or Nothing is that song is just, it just hits. I wanted a song that kind of showed um, who I am as an artist, and what I'm capable of and what I can do, and it's just a different side that, like, I don't think a lot of people know that I had in me. And that one, at the end, I hit this like whistle note that I had only sang that to myself at home, because I'm like, I don't even know if this sounds any good to anybody else, but I can like sing this crazy high note. Um, and I never showed it to anybody until I got into the studio to record it that day. And and we had 2 minutes left of studio time, and he said, "Hey, do you have anything else?" And I just said, "Well, I can do this." And then so I sang that, and then they were like, okay, yeah, we're putting that in. So it was cool to kind of show that I can do that, and kind of gave me more confidence to really go for stuff like that. And so I like to always surprise people at the end and hit that note for them.
And show that, hey, that was me. That was not all this overproduction. I can actually do that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's just one of those songs that it's like it's all about giving it everything you got, and I just wanted to show that, like, yeah, us girls, we can rock just as hard as any guy out there. So that's what I wanted to do.
Well, absolutely, and beyond, like I said, you put out a lot of songs in 2025, or you've released several singles. What can you tell me that won't get yourself in trouble? I don't want to get you in trouble. What can you tell me that folks can expect from you in 2026?
Well, I still got one more song coming out on the 19th. Um, so that one is
Ooh, so by the time this drops, it'll be out.
It will be out, yes. So that one is called For the Record, and that's another thing that I just wanted to get off my chest and, you know, set things straight and just say, yeah, what I was thinking. So, and that one's like a very Eric Church inspired song. So I'm excited for everyone to hear that. And then I feel like that kind of sets the stage of what's to come, and it kind of shows like and this new chapter that's developing and unraveling. And so that's going to be one of the songs that I'm putting on an album for next year. So we're having that coming up. So yeah, I'm recording lots right now and getting ready for all that stuff, and gonna be performing all around Canada. And yeah, it's gonna be busy. It's gonna be good.
I love that. I love that. Also, folks, if you're listening not in Canada and somewhere else, Canada is a beautiful place to go visit. Go do it. Go find a show up there. You won't regret it. And trust me, there's someone that's gone up there and visited. I love it. And you know, you mentioned all the stuff you got going on. If folks want to find out more, just follow you on social media, and they'll get the tease beforehand.
Yeah, I am on everything at Kelsi Mayne. So it's just my name. But because my mom is Italian, she thought that to spell it Kelsi in an Italian way, you gotta just end it with an I, like spaghetti. So that's how it's spelt. That's the real thing. It's not just an artist way, but Kelsi, and then Mayne is my last name.
I love that's that's why at the beginning I had to ask how to make sure I pronounce everything right. I have a way with words. Apparently I did well. And Kelsey, you have done fantastic with your music. I love it when I got to go down the rabbit hole. I can't wait to see what's next, because it sounds like 2026 is going to be fantastic. And thanks for, I know you behaved yourself tonight, but thanks for sharing your story and a drink with me.
Thank you so much. I hope to share a drink with you soon.